We say it take a village to raise a child, but what if the village is retarded?
What's going on? I just I just kind of had to kind of give a warning. This is again, this is not new. It's very few things that have not been said in the quote unquote manosphere spaces. And speaking of that, one of the things that I hear about the rhetoric of the red pill guys and all of that, it's like it's basically like Marlo, like in The Wire, when Marlo came on the block and he said, "You got to get this package," and he took over and he said, he basically took over Prop Joe and all of them, the old guys. That's all of that is the new guys disrespecting the older guys because they was getting money, they was getting the subscribers, the YouTube content creators that were pretty much before them. That's all it is. It happens. It's like that's history. That's history. Like basically uh the Jews help persecute a lot of the Christians. They still disrespect Christians to this day, right? The Muslims, they don't they call Christians in kafirs, which is like basically a hypocrite. And it's like, yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, I'm not, I could go in on that as far as the valid points and start certain things like that. Like it's kind of the tone of what I'm talking about too. Like you say one thing, but you actually do the opposite type of thing, right? Um, O'Shea is actually grilling the Fugazi podcast dude. Like he, I told y'all, like I mean, ain't no future in your fronting, man. You know what I'm saying? Like all that fake grift stuff you trying to come to YouTube with, try on some fake shit. Once they put the lens on you and they find out you on some fake shit, you saying one thing and actually doing another thing. That's kind of the tone of this conversation that I'm basically dialoguing today about when it comes to men self improving. Okay, now and I'll say this. I'll keep it real. This is basically, I got this idea from Sergeant Willie Pete, and it just kind of hit me like, damn, you know, I haven't really said this enough. Like this is, I've talked about this before. What I'm actually going to be talking about, but I'm gonna go into more detail about this because it's kind of in that same realm. Like you saying one thing, but you're actually doing it, and I got experience on this being an older dude, mid 40s, kind of reaching that mid 40 realm. I have experience on what I'm going to be talking about as far as I need a man to be. You got all of these requirements for a guy in conversation, but who you choose totally substandard of those said requirements. Totally substandard of those requirements that you have uh in conversation. You choose something totally different. So you say I gotta be a millionaire with emotional understanding and 6 feet and all of that other crap. Like you got dudes actually, it's so fucked up with simps. You got so many male centered, or not so much male centered, but female centered simps that all focus too much on women, way too much, and then they go over heels to please women so much with their bullshit as far as what their requirements is, because they really don't have any requirements. They're just talking. A lot of times you got to understand women just be talking. They're emotional one day, they're on their period or whatever, they're ovulating. The next week they got a totally different mood, desire, taste, and all of that shit. Um y'all don't really know women. A lot of y'all just don't know, might have not had any sisters. You didn't really, have that many women in your family or some shit like that. I don't know. But the thing is this, right? In the tone of conversation, a lot of women are very, very similar, very, very much hypocrites as far as what they say they actually want and what they actually choose is totally substandard in the dialogue that they have with other women, as well as what they say to other people, what their requirements actually is, and who they actually choose. You scratching your head. You like, what is this? Who is this guy? Right? The Kiki Palmers, Nicki Minaj's of the world. Who else? Even you can even say, I mean, I don't really criticize her, because she kind of she is giving her best self, it seems, to the guy she's with. But Fantasia got with a dude that was literally a regular dude that was also even married, but it worked out. She's at least respectful for towards him, and allows him to, basically uh be a patriarchal, masculine figure in the home. She's got kids with him, I believe, and stuff like that. But yeah, like, a lot of the requirements, you know, that you say you gotta, it's like having a job application, right? Like, with me, I've always had, like, I get ragged on by the tech bros, because I I be getting like jobs that it be like entry level, and it's like easy to get to the most part, and I'd be like stuck in that realm. And the higher jobs I can actually do, I'm 100%. I'm pretty positive I can do higher position stuff. I have done some higher position stuff. I've been a network engineer for Microsoft. I've been my last major role was an IT specialist, where I pretty much managed an entire department, inventory, imaging all of the laptops for the company. And I'm not talking about no um small company. I'm talking about one of the largest healthcare providers in the country, pretty much in the tone of the United Healthcare. Like, they were like up there in that type of sector, where I worked. So I've done some high level shit, in tech. But what I'm saying is, it's like trying to get a job for a higher position when you don't have that experience. Like I've said before, it's very, very difficult, because those requirements are what they're looking for. Like, for example, I went to school for programming, coding, right? To get a job coding, or to be a software, it's called software development now. You gotta know Python, and Ruby Rails, and React, and JavaScript, and all these other things, right? And you gotta have experience behind it too, which is very difficult. And how do you get around? How do you get around that? You gotta go do probably some internships or something like that to get some experience. You gotta show that you got experience, and that's very difficult when you first starting out entry level, right? So it's like those requirements they're pretty hard nosed about those requirements, right? Well, what if you could just get a job based off of you having a riz and a vibe? Like what if a company hired you based off of your riz and your vibe, and it doesn't matter that you have any experience, you know, um, you could just fuck your way into the position or whatever the case may be, as long as you keep the supervisor happy, with some dick, you can keep your job. And that's kind of what in the tones of how, basically looking at black women like they're, basically a HR a person that hires people. That's actually what they do with a lot of men that they choose. And when it comes to self improvement and the conversation that I'm talking about right now, which is, this is not going to be long, it's a short flyby at most. Um, they choose men that do not meet any of the requirements for what they say that they need to be able to date them and be with them or whatever the case may be. So you got these dudes, right? Like, I mean, even myself, right? I went what, made sure, I took care of everything financially, made sure I did, X, Y, and Z to, basically listen to the complaints and try to, work on things. And at the end of the day, you should self improve for you, obviously. I've said that many times. The women that you talking about that have all of these requirements, you just got to look at it like you got to look at it for what it is, nothing at all. Nothing at all. And especially I would say for, you know, um ideally black women, because when it comes to like other, like, let's just say non-black women, they do have a standard and they do tend to really stick with that. Like the women in America, that, Asian women, Arabian women, um, basically, uh even when it come to white women, for the most part, they might slut it out in college and then, get a sophisticated bread when they get out of college, or while they, in college, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is that, yeah, that standard is, upheld to a certain regard, but they cry and crash out too. They be crying on TikTok talking about, man, I can't find anybody, and and it's like, yeah, I mean, they fall short too. But the thing is this: when you listening to that shit, that's why I say don't even listen to that shit, man, because it'll fuck you up, as far as, like, when you, like I said, a older guy that actually listened to that shit. I remember I used to work at WVON, right? Only black radio station. It's like the black bourgeoisie um center of Chicago. Because that's like all of the black, elites go through that radio station to get on, from Barack Obama to Jesse Jackson, anybody trying to run for office, the mayor of Chicago right now, they have to go through, and they know they have to go through that radio station to get on, to put their name out there, to get, to that audience, right? My grandma listened to that. My everybody listens to that black radio station, because it's the only black talk radio station in in the Chicagoland area. Okay. Um, I say all of this to say, I remember doing work for them, and the women in there, it's like, it was like boomerang, man. You know, I remember I was in some of these women, man. Some man, if not all of them, was like fine. It was women that were like, they were extremely gorgeous. They accomplished. You know, ex Air Force, uh, Clark Atlanta, the HBCU or whatever, like top university where they got, they graduated and everything. And it's like, yeah, these some like upper crust black women for the most part. They weren't no just super hood chicks that weren't sophisticated or anything like that. Like these chicks, man, they were, kind of like trying to be black socialites in Chicago type shit. Like, upper crust black elite, type, women, man. And I remember, man, they had some high ass expectations. They had high expectations. Like I'm talking, they wanted a dude with some money and all of that shit. I remember like listening to that shit, man, and being like, oh, okay. Well, obviously, me at that time being a struggling upstart with a computer store on the south side of Chicago, living with my mother at the time, barely fucking making it some days in my struggling computer business on the south side of Chicago, it was like, yeah, I mean, I ain't had that much to offer as far as no money. Definitely didn't have the understanding that I have now. So I wasn't necessarily that financially disciplined back then. Uh the you know, thing is that I remember hearing all of that bullshit and following some of those women on social media after basically they left working there. I pretty much closed my business down, went back to eventually going back to working as an employee, and then seeing the dudes that they choose were regular motherfuckers. I mean, regular Joes. Not even all that attractive as far as it ain't get with no motherfucking male model or no motherfucking up and coming actor or no shit like that. They got regular dudes, regular degular dudes, man, with jobs. Proletarians. I mean, like that's who they chose. All of that bullshit about you gotta have all this money and all of that goofy shit. It was a pack of bullshit. It was some shit that you try to sell. It's like this, right? It's nothing, capitalism is capitalism. Like whoever can be sold on something, it could be sold. Like it is what it is, right? So like you can have a 1987 Chevy Trailblazer and you can ask for $3,500 for that 1987 Trailblazer. It's a sucker out there that might buy that for $3,500. Probably not that many, but who's to say you can't sell that 1987 Trailblazer for $3,500 to somebody? You might get somebody to buy it, or you may not. But you just gonna try to throw it out there to see if you get any takers. That's kind of what black women do. A lot of women do, and they strike out because here's the thing. This is also why you don't really pay attention to that because the whole all of these requirements crap because they don't adhere to the requirements. They end up in a sense of what I was saying about hiring and whatnot people that don't even meet the requirements for the job. That's what they ultimately do in the end. They choose the dude that really naturally they want, which is that's how natural selection works. You choose whoever is available at the time and who you want and all of that, and it has nothing to do with no money and all of this other stuff. It's a lot more easier to explain as far as choosing based off of factors that have nothing to do with any money, to nothing to do with any like uh how good your resume is or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you see dudes trying to break their neck to try to make all of this self improvement to make some money, get get them a place, get them somewhere, because they don't, black men get really crucified for living with our mama, right? Living in our mama house. So we go out and get a pad, right? So we can impress women primarily. That's one of the reasons, right? Because you hear all of this rhetoric about men living with their mama, right? So we go through all of these changes. Let me tell you the real deal facts about all of that. I'm gonna tell you something that is rather surprising. When I lived with my mother, I got more pussy than when I did living on my own. That is a fact. Absolute fact. I can't understand why, but I mean, it was a thing where I was just, I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, when I was living with my mother, man, I was motherfucking batting 1,000. Living on my own, it was, it takes a lot to pay all of these bills and all of that type of stuff. It's a lot of extremes you have to go through to earn a living to live on your own, versus you can save up a little bit more when you living with your parents. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you thinking, oh, I gotta go get this place and all that. Man, it's women that'll. Let me tell you something. It used to be. I don't know if you've seen this meme on social media where it got the old school vans with the, like, now they put rim. It was a time they'll put rims on these old school Astro vans, and those like kind of luxury vans, like extended cargo vans, where they used to, they came out in the like 80s and stuff, like the early 80s. They had these like extended luxury vans that had like, they had leather seats in them. They had like, if you got like a really deluxe package, they had a TV in them, like a little small TV. They had like, theater style curtains in the van and stuff like that. And those vans was notorious for, dudes driving around in them, picking up chicks and, hitting them in the van. And it's like, yeah, the meme was like, yeah, if your dad had a van like that, you probably got some siblings across town that you don't know about. Because basically, man, women, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I hit women and I had sex with women in cars, vans. Um, I mean, this most tripped out place you can think of, as far as, you know, actually having engaging in sex or whatever. And it had nothing to do. Like in my apartment, when I had apartments, man, I ain't really hit wasn't hitting on much like that, other than when I was away at school. I mean, yeah, it was, just different situation. But the thing is that, like, yeah, it's not what you think. Like, you thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get an apartment and it's gonna come, I'm gonna come up, man, and women gonna like me. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about where your apartment. I mean, they're impressed. Women do get impressed, but for a dude that they really want, they'll hit him in the alley. They'll let them hit in the alley, like they'll let them hit outside in front of everybody if they really involved. Like, it's not like that with women, man. Like, as far as what you think, like, they be capping, man. They be like, saying stuff to make themselves look good. You know, they really a slut, but they don't want you to know. So they gonna try to pretend like they just this wholesome, like pretty much like Alan Roger Curry said, they're this wholesome pretender, that they're pretending to be not a slut. Like, just just like I always say, like you going on this date, you qualifying this woman, you already qualified this woman for this date, right? You go spend that $100 for your meal, her meal, and she got nut from another dude while she's sitting down. She got the residue of some nut from the dude that she was with the day before, or that day. She just came from her boyfriend house, just fucked, and she got the nut of another dude you don't know nothing about. You thinking she just talking to you and she ain't got no other dude, or she ain't talking to somebody else, and she got another dude's nut, the residue of another dude's fresh sperm deposit inside her pussy, while you sitting there talking about random shit on a date, hoping that you can get some pussy, and you ain't get no parts of the pussy after that date, no parts of it. You ain't even getting no rubber. You ain't even able to put a rubber on. You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting a hand job, no head, nothing. And that's where the conversation, goes into, well, just pay. Just go ahead, look for the pros. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Okay, shit, you going to go spend $100, go spend $100. You guaranteed to get something in, right? That argument goes in. That's where that shit go. That's from decades and shit on YouTube. That's where that conversation goes into when it comes to like, oh, because you got these chicks out here lying, and dudes falling for it. They haven't qualified this chick. I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of them. You talking to this chick, and she really not into you, because the chicks that really they into a guy, they don't have all of these requirements. They don't have all of these qualifiers. They say one thing, but the actual person that they actually get, you scratching your head, you trying to figure this out. You like, damn, you picked you picked a regular dude, and you talking about you gotta have this money and all this. It's like, yeah, the person that you actually choose ultimately, he ain't even rich. He not even famous. He just a dude. He a dude that you met at the club that you really like. He might be educated, he might got a job, but you know what I'm saying, you play for the WNBA and you got endorsements and everybody know you. You're a household name, and you pick just some regular dude, that can't even afford your lifestyle at all. And it's like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, you thinking, oh well, I'm gonna self-improve to get these bitches. Nah, them women don't care if you self-improve or not. I'm not saying all, but most women do not. They're not driven by your financial success like that. They're not, and especially in accordance to, you because you actually being quote unquote successful, and you have your finances in order. You basically, most men are not going to just go through all of those changes. This is what Kevin Samuel said as well. um you're not gonna get to that position and let some woman boss you around and tell you how to spend your money, and how to do this and do that. You're not gonna basically get bossed around. If you got to the point where you make over six figures, you're a professional, you're mid-career, whatever the case may be, you're a successful entrepreneur, you got to that position being a boss, you got to that position being very assertive, very dominant. You're not going you're not gonna let most likely some woman just come to the table and tell you what to do and tell you how high to jump and all of that type of stuff. That's not gonna happen. And then that's why the women that even say they want guys like that, when it comes down to it, they can't even really keep guys like that around because they can't boss those dudes around like they boss, the dudes that are not, that successful. They're not able to do that. So yeah, I mean it's be careful trying to break your neck trying to get a whole bunch of money to quote unquote not be dusty, right? To please these chicks, man. That's really big, really picking dusty dudes. The quote unquote most popular chick on YouTube, right? Got kicked off of YouTube. What happens? I don't want no dusties, no trash bag dusties. Who does she choose to secretly have a baby with? A trash bag dusty. So it's like, I mean, and at the end of the day, I mean, that's I don't really, I'm pretty bougie myself. That chick is not, she is not no elite chick like that. Like I never looked at that woman like she was some elite chick to be like she's so high above, because if you know her origin story, like I know her origin story, I mean, basically, it's like pretty much, yeah, if you had $100, pretty much you was gonna hit like type stuff. So yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, people get motivated. One of the things you find about social media is kind of dangerous is you got people that are broke that are very, very convincing. And then next thing you know, they start a whole cult movement and they got a whole bunch of cult followers leading them straight to, off the cliff like lemons, and you find out, their origin story, you find out how fake they are and hypocritical they are. And, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's just crazy, how hypocritical they are. So it's like, yeah, man. I would just say definitely, definitely don't even, be really, to be honest, the I guess the secret sauce is kind of listening to what, not even listening to what women say they want. Just think of it in the back of your head. Get to a point where you could be like a Jedi, where you can think in the back of your head like, yeah, this is one of those chicks talking about what she want. And if you could take just a mental note of that, 4 or 5 years later, look who they choose, or see them still being single. Because you got a lot of women that are like long term, like a lot of women are long term single. Because see, here's the thing, like it's not about a lot of women. Yeah, they have women. A lot of women already have a dude. A lot of women have a dude already. That's another thing that you got to understand. And I call these women monogamous pretenders. They pretend to be monogamous, but monogamous pretenders tend to, and I would even say women that are truly monogamous, they still hold on to a guy. They still keep open communications, open cables, of communication with men from the past. And they do that in order to, as like having some type of break glass, emergency break glass, in case, of emergency break glass, right? Type of the reason why they do that. But you trying to really pay attention to what they talking about and all of that, what they want. They have a track record of really not following that standard, and it's like, some women can truly, be hypergamous and all of that type of stuff. Some women are capable of that, but most women are not capable of truly being hypergamous because they're not genuine, first off. And then you look at, here's another thing, you know, the a lot of women, if you noticed, I'm like I say, I'm a veteran of this shit, right? You know, what I'm saying, been with women. I've been with women like, I've been shit since high school. I'm middle, like in my mid 40s. I've been dealing with women for over 20 years. Um, you have women that basically they say that they want, like I say, they say that they want one thing, one type of guy. He has to meet all of this requirements, and they choose some, ultimately they choose someone totally that doesn't meet their requirements, right? So it's basically they was lying, they was capping. And it don't matter, it does and that's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't matter as far as what their requirements are. It doesn't matter. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what happens is these women get older. They they ultimately choose either a guy that does not meet their standards that they say that they had, or they got desperate and they had to lower their standards, or they don't have any man at all, or they just have basically they have ongoing relationships. And a lot of what women do is, in a lot of, countries, Western countries, what they do is they have these ongoing relationships. And what I mean by ongoing relationships is they perpetually are single, and they always have someone though. So they're 20, in their 20s, and you hear this from women. They say they really never, it's never been really a time that they have not been in a relationship. They've always been in a relationship. They always had some dude, right? And basically that's the case. Like, if you got a woman that's above, I call them, women that are basically, let's just say above fives, above five, above mid grade, right? As far as looks, 0 to 10, scale looks, right? They, yeah, I could see that constantly having a dude in a relationship, having a man in the pipeline, and having a relationship with a guy ongoing, right? Constantly in and out of relationships, right? Monkey branching, right? Yeah, that's the thing. That's what a lot of what happens, right? Right. The whole, all of the men that are single versus the women that obviously they have a relationship, because it's more men that are thirsty than there are women that are thirsty. Women are not really thirsty like that because they don't have to be. You know how many times have you heard, you know from women's mouth, I can have any women, I can have, yeah, they can have any woman they want to. I can have any man I want, just about. Or not so much, they don't say I can have any man that they want. Some of them think like that more often than you more than you actually think like that. But it's like basically they know they can go get any man just about, or uh a man to go sleep with anytime that they want to, because again they know they have that pot of gold in between their legs, right? Men don't really have that type of thing unless, women, if women know, like, if you have a certain look about you and stuff like that, yeah, you can attract more women, right? More women are attracted to you, right? But it's still not on a level of just a regular woman, right? A regular woman will get way more attention than probably a man that might be attractive to women or whatever, or highly attracted to women. So, the thing is that that standard is, it just gets goofy when you actually, like I say, you see the women that says, "Oh, I need all of this and all of that," and you see who they actually choose. And I'm saying you dodged a bullet. You actually dodged a bullet when you basically, um you realize, damn, I'm trying to, you got a certain type of woman in mind, that you're, when you thinking about, you at the gym, and you saving money, you're budgeting, you're doing everything you can to be financially successful, to be successful in life, and you got certain women in mind, and you think, you go look, you open up the World Wide Web, you go, what I'm saying, I remember I had an account. I had like two Facebook accounts. I had an old account from like a long time ago, still got the friends on there. And then I got like an account that's newer. So I remember going into the old account, and I'm seeing all of these chicks, man, these chicks, when I was in my 20s, right? And I'm seeing them now in their 40s and shit, because they're about the same. I most of the time, I was pursuing women that were basically my age, around my age. So they're in their 40s now, and a lot of them is like either single, they got children and they still single, or they don't have children and they're career women and they still single, still dating, you know. And it's like, yeah, man, it's just like, wow, it's like amazing to you, to a certain sense. Like, this woman is still, she's still out there doing the same bullshit that she was doing in her 20s, and she's still, and it's like behind all of the real estate sales and all of the money that's made, all of the real estate purchases, the financial success, the career success, is a chubby fat woman that got ran through pussy and no children. Obviously, because I mean, that's, some women gloat on the fact that they don't have kids, but basically a spinster, you know, and at that age, they're not even gonna have any kids as well. They're not gonna have even one child. And it's like, yeah, you just look at it like, basically, in these types of women, they got all kinds of extensive critique on others, right? Because they do have the financial success. They do have the quote unquote career accolades, and they got everything set up, right? They got a lot of stuff set up, you know. And then, you never know. You might it might appear as though they're doing okay, but they may not. They may ultimately not be doing okay. You know, um, I see the successes, because I'm pretty much in like the real estate. Like I said, I'm in the algorithm of real estate, investing, uh construction, home improvement, renovations types of, spaces or whatever. And yeah, I mean, some of these like real estate investors that have like extensive real estate portfolios, some of them, man, is really struggling and crying, like really sad because they got a lot of debt. They holding a lot of debt. You know, they got underperforming properties where tenants are not paying, and they got mortgages on those properties. They still got to pay the mortgage no matter if the tenants pay or not, and they got financial problems. And their financial problems ain't, I gotta come up with $400 to pay my car payment. It's like I gotta come up with $40,000 to pay my taxes on my properties, and I don't really have it, or $400,000, to deal with these past due mortgage balances that I have to pay on these said properties. And it's like, yeah, those are some extensive problems, right? And it's like you would know, you behind all of the videos and everything, you see all of these successes, and it's like, I done made this money off of this property and this and that. And then it's like, yeah, man, behind all of the financial statements is a whole nother story. And the thing is that when it comes down to it, a lot of these women that you hear and you really entertaining what they actually want, because they basically when women tell you what they want like that, they really don't want you. Because a woman that really wants you, she's gonna take the risk of trying to deal with you just like where you are. They're gonna meet you where you're at. Like really genuinely, a woman is gonna try to deal with you where you at, because ultimately that's what they end up doing. They get with the man that doesn't have anything what they said that they have requirements for. And the thing is like I was saying, as far as these women in these long-term relationships, these monkey branching relationships, um you'll be surprised, like who these people, like a lot of women, that do this, right? They obviously like what, age out. They monkey branch, and time does not stop. They age out, and then of course once they reach a certain age, they could still monkey branch, but it starts getting ridiculous. It's past the point of, okay, obviously now you're gonna be basically an auntie, you know, um, dog lady or whatever, right? And that's your future, right? Pretty much that's your future, or some type of, you gotta go to science and pay, tens of thousands of dollars for some type of scientific treatment in order for you to have, a child, you know, if that's what you want to do, right? And then you gonna ultimately what? At that point, be what you was talking about for years and decades to your friends, to other people, about being a single mama. Basically now, late term pregnancy, IVF treatments, you're what? A single mama. Your avoidance to be a single mama, um, ultimately you ended up being what you would try to avoid being, with the, multiple abortions and all of the plan Bs and all the other stuff, right? your fate that you try to avoid and run from, you ultimately embrace your fate and finally become a single mother. With a high value single mother with IVF, $50,000 IVF treatments post op, you know, turning to science to help fertilize your eggs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, man, this is the world that you see when you get older. Like you start to see, you know, this type of game goofy type of stuff, how it plays out. And when it plays out, you go put the clown outfit on, and women start really looking like clowns. And you're trying to self-improve again, like I say, for women that, when you talking about, they talking about like, man, you gotta be this and you gotta have this. And I remember chicks used to I remember a chick one time, she didn't want to talk to me because I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I was like, wow, okay. And you see chicks, man. I'm gonna tell you something. You see chicks that's in their 60s, bro. They in their 60s, 70s, and they all dry. They busted. They single. They had money. They still got a little money. They got a house with a mortgage or whatever. And they, what I'm saying, they've been trying to be independent for like, 40, 50 years. And yeah, they went to the Ivy League. They definitely went to the Ivy League. But it's not like the Ivy League is going to address all of your social issues and your, problems in your life. That's just not how that works. You could wake up one day and blink, and you're an old lady that went to the Ivy League, with a Pomeranian.
What does your husband say about this? Did y'all discuss it?
No, I'm not married. I would not choose. I would not choose to date into something like that. I got choose to be single.
Okay.
I'm a PhD.
Okay. Congratulations.
Hero for that, baby.
What does your husband say about this? Did y'all discuss it?
Yeah. Yeah, you start to really look goofy, man. People do goofy shit. Both men and women do some goofy ass shit. And you start to look really goofy when you think about it. Like, damn, you know, even myself, like being a quote unquote player, when you younger, you going through women, and you think about it, like, damn, you get older, and you can't, to be honest, you can't be the player you used to be, right? You know what I'm saying? You can't motherfucking be a player for the rest of your life, you know, without paying, like getting free, quote unquote free, sexual access to women, you know what I'm saying? Because you use your, masculine bravado and conversational skills, and your youth and all of that to attract women, and the way you look, your riz, your swag, or whatever. you know that has an expiration. But the thing is that women have a harder time accepting that they have to call in, basically cash out. A lot of the younger women, they're smart. They understand, okay, it's time for me to cash out, because I'm gonna be this old woman that's looking goofy, that's looking like a clown. I'm gonna be a clown out here. So they go cash out. They go get that right guy, and then they cash out. They what I'm saying, call it due. They put you know they process the application for the qualified applicant, right? And the thing is that that's what you don't do when you're trying to self improve, is focus in on what women want, because ultimately you got to understand desperation will have you change your mind in the drop of a dime. That's like a rap song, you know and it happens every day. People get desperate and they change their mind. Women are people. They get desperate and then they have to change their mind. you know it's just like that. And you gotta think, like, it's a thing where it does mess men up. It fucks men up because you talking about you need to be a doctor, you need to go to Ivy Leagues, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And then this is why you got dudes, okay, the quote unquote educated lame, and the whole Pookie thing is, you got dudes that's trying to really, they doing all of that. They really listen to that shit. They believe that bullshit lie of the requirements. They believe the false requirements. So that was an incentive for them to go out and be successful, quote unquote, not be a dusty. Then okay, they go out in the real world, they graduated, they go into their career, and what do they see? Women choosing, basically, um dusty pookies, quote unquote. And they're like, damn, that I thought you thought wrong. And it's like, yeah, they get disillusioned about that. And then the whole go get a white chick, becomes a valid point, or a Hispanic chick, or an Asian chick becomes a valid point. And then comes the black female hatred army to attack that black man that you told you needed this and this, and he went out and got it, and you just got with a Pookie at the nightclub that basically sell fire ganja, while in between jobs, working at Burger King. And it's like, yeah, I mean, then you all this stuff about you can't date if you don't choose black women and all. Yeah, all that shit comes from that. It comes from you being basically a monogamous pretender, and also all the while saying that you want all of these requirements for to date you, while you're pretending to want a monogamous relationship, all the while being a slut, you know, in a nightclub, like having a secret life, like R. Kelly, living that double life. Like, you got a double life. You got one life on the tail end. You're this wholesome, good girl, monogamous pretender. You want a relationship. You want a man. But on the other life, the other double side of that life is you go to the clubs with your girls and you fuck on dudes, in the words of Platinum Elite. You be out getting your fuck on and running the streets with your girls, having hot girl summers. And it's, that's part of American culture. It's some of the things that's kind of like I scratch my head a little bit, because yeah, I wasn't raised in that type of culture to a certain extent. I just, kind of looked at it like my mother was raised in that culture, my dad was not. And it's like I saw that side, that, American culture of basically kind of tripped out, where, it kind of, it's kind of tripped out how women have, both men and women have these bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, and because I have to go to, basically I got to go back to how I was raised, in an Islamic household, quote unquote dysfunctional still, but yeah, like obviously that's not part of that quote unquote secular culture or whatever. Going to go get a fucking bachelor at your bachelorette party, and then y'all take turns slopping them off one last time. That's your, like, quote unquote one last time to cheat or whatever. The bachelor party as well, like having strippers, having hot butt naked sex for the last time. Like, yeah, that's part of this, part of this caked into the culture. Um, it's kind of, that's just how that is, right? And that ultimately what, you know if you had to look, if you're some researcher, and you had to look at, okay, why is the divorce rates how they are, black community, can't stay together past 5 years, the divorce rate is, over 50%, the actual, all of these statistics. And it's part, and you got part of that, looking at that research is understanding, okay, the whole, like, I guess sex culture in America has something to do with why those divorces are what like they are. What do women always say? He cheated, right? I mean, I'm not even saying that, men can't necessarily cheat. I'm not saying that. I don't think men should be in no monogamous relationship, it is as it is. I don't think that, that's something that's sustainable long term, in my personal opinion. And the thing is that, um it's one thing to have that opinion, and it's another thing to actually get into some type of relationship where, that's pretty much what you have to do. You have to go out and have a party, and cheat one last time, and then pretty much, cheat while you're in the relationship, because all you got to do is, I've seen many men have a situation with their wife where they know that they can go out and do what they need to do. I've seen quite a few men in my lifetime have that arrangement, and, I mean, like, it is, like, it's a woman for every guy that, whatever he wants to do in life and all of that. It's a woman for you. And it's like, I mean, trying to find that woman and all of that, that's where things get complicated and stuff like that. But the thing is that, you know women cheat, men cheat. uh it is a kind of a complex issue, but not really. Not, it is it's a video on its own, I guess, to a certain extent. I actually started something on TikTok about that, as far as like why men cheat. Um, yeah, but yeah, men are not necessarily. Most mammals are not wired to be monogamous, and that goes for both women and men. Women are not. They have the same they have similar desires. I do agree with, like, Alan Roger Curry, where, the whole Madonna whore complex. Like women want have a lot of women have desires to deal with other men too. And I do acknowledge that and I do understand that fact. I mean, but the thing is that it's kind of consequences with that because you got to understand how a man looks at a woman, basically cheating is that, you taking risks where okay, you get pregnant, like Ime Udoku, he basically impregnated a vice president of a basketball operation, basically the Boston Celtics, his wife. He impregnated her. They had basically a biracial child. True story. Happened a couple years ago. He actually ultimately got suspended and fired because of that. Because it was a white woman, obviously biracial baby. That baby is I don't know if he has any type of like he can see the baby or nothing like that. I don't know the details of that relationship or whatever. But basically that vice president is still married to his wife, I believe. I'm not sure. And obviously the woman is still raising that child. She didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. She's still raising that child. Now, that child is obviously like 3 or 4 years old by now because that happened years ago. Now, uh, I say all of that to say that men, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't understand as far as like why men stay on the other side of that. Why men that are, ultimately in that situation kind of cucks, why they would stay in that relationship and help that woman um raise the child. Now here's another thing that you don't know is that you don't know the dynamics of other people's relationships as well, because kind of where I was going with this whole relationship thing is you got like quote unquote like secret lifestyle groups and stuff. You got people that live secret lifestyles. You got people that are swingers, quote unquote cucks, dominatrix, and you know doms and all kind of stuff, right? And I'm gonna say this, like it was a chick that I saw like on Lapeef. She was making the rounds on Lapeef and stuff like years ago. She's still around, but one of the things about Twitter that's tripped out is like you see all of this shit because Twitter has more of a open door policy in like as far as porn and all kind of other stuff, right? Risque type stuff. So you just, when I first joined Twitter was like 2021 or whatever, and I saw like, different stuff like, different they don't have live streams. They have like spaces or whatever. And you hear different conversations. You could just like eavesdrop on conversations in a way, but Twitter is like Facebook. They can see your profile, and see, okay, who are you, why are you joining, and all that type of stuff, especially if the space is like less than 10 people or less than 20 people. So like one of those chicks that was on the Lapeef, she was, like I was saying, coming off like a monogamous pretender. Alan Roger Curry called them wholesome pretenders, where she was just, generally coming across like she was just a regular chick that dates men and is looking for a relationship or currently in a relationship. What I know about this particular chick, I'll just say, I'll give you a riddle. I'm not gonna say her name because I was thinking about should I say her name or not. I'll just say that her name starts with a P and ends with the S. Now, this particular chick, she is basically what would be called in that lifestyle. She basically is a sub. She's a sub, and she's a sub to a dom, which a dom is basically a dude that can fuck as many women as he want, and he still has women that are like basically kept women. There's he has different, and basically a lot of the women that he goes through is basically his subs, right? And this chick, and I totally noticed about this chick, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are actually, they have no idea who this chick is, and they're coming like they think she's just some regular chick that's a pick me or whatever they calling her or whatever. And it's like, I know, I'm like, this chick is basically a sub to Dom, and basically she's with a dude that basically she's allowed, she's allowed to deal with other dudes, maybe possibly. It's a different dynamic. Like, you got some women that are in a closed relationship where they don't date other men. They only date their quote unquote dom, right? It's kind of weird because it gets really, really dynamic. I'll tell you this: I'm not in that lifestyle, quote unquote. I just kind of like, I kind of put the lens on it, and I kind of went in like, kind of like, let's just say I did a lot of research, and then I would say how can I say this? Maybe the more accurately, I spied in the group. I spied in the group. So like, I pretty much like kind of saw a little bit more in detail what this involves. And you got quite a few women that are involved in like lifestyles like that. And you don't even know. They're regular women. You would absolutely not know they're in that lifestyle. It is no way you would know other than if you knew. And it's on some old eyes wide shut type stuff. I think the chick I'm talking to now is on some shit like that, because she got a picture with a like a masquerade mask. And I mean, yeah, it's come to think of it, I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you coming at this chick, right? Imagine you coming at this chick, right? Like, on some, I want to be with you forever, baby. I want to put a ring on it. And this chick deals with doms, and she's really looking for another dom. She's in between doms, and you don't even know anything about this shit. So yeah, you thought I was a square loser, simp, ex-simp, lame. No. Man, I've been around the block. Shit, man, you don't know, man. You have absolutely no fucking clue who the fuck I am. Now, the thing is this. Yeah, you coming at her on some, yeah, man, I'm trying to make you my boo. I'm trying. She's looking for a dom. She's looking for a fucking. She's looking to actually. You don't even know. Like, she's actually looking for you to fucking be her master, and you coming at her on some like regular Leave It to Beaver type shit. Like, and she's looking to be put on a collar and walked around. And it's like, yeah, I mean, so a lot of dudes is game goofy. like really, really game goofy because they don't know, like, and they putting women in a one size fit all hat, you know, and it's like it's not like that. This is a totally different environment, totally different world. You know, this is, you know what I'm saying? Just it's like I said before, this country, you know, primarily, you know, it's like you just kind of look at like Europe or something. Like a lot of the sexual stuff is like behind closed doors. Like, you know, the secret stuff that you don't know, like eyes wide shut. I mean, of course it goes really grotesque. It's an extreme to every fucking thing. You know, one thing about Twitter, they got all of that shit. They got all of that. Like one of the things I like about Twitter, you can tinfoil your hat to the tinfoil. You can have the like tallest tinfoil hat that you could ever dream of on Twitter. Like all of that shit is there. You know, the Clinton files and all that shit. You can have at it. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. That's the extreme with that all of that shit too and all that. Yeah. Um, I'm just saying, as just a medium of what you think people actual lifestyle is, you'll be actually surprised. What Because it's like it's basically it's called the sexual shadow world. You know, that's what like, you know, cousin T Tar, that's what Ron Wills, you know, they call it the sexual shadow world. And you got quite a few women that are in. I ain't worried about the fucking dudes. You got a lot of women that are in that fucking world, and you wouldn't even know. You like, damn, I mean, what's up with this chick, man? She look good, she straight, she talking good, and she a sub to a dime, and you don't even know it. You like, damn, I want to get with this chick. You trying to slide in her DM. You like, she's a sub. She in a room, you gotta understand, she in a room with other subs waiting for her turn to be fucked by her dom. And you have no fucking idea that this world exists. You don't know what the hell. Like your mind, you know, this is called vanilla, being vanilla. Like you don't even know this world exists. You have no idea. Your idea is your program, TV, film, whatever, etc., to look at, you know, and it's like, you know, this is where porn comes in. And it's like, yeah, like if you watch porn, you probably would be more open to understanding that this world exists versus, you know, someone is like, yeah, religious, no porn and blah blah. Well, the thing about porn, you know, and I'm not saying you should jag off and all of that shit and watch porn, but porn shows you, it kind of gives you a glimpse of the sexual shadow world, because the sexual shadow world is out here, and you don't know what these people do behind closed doors, and you don't know what they're hiding from you. And women, one of the things you can count on from women as a whole is just women in totality. No, doesn't matter the race. Women are very, very practical and good at holding secrets. That's why also women make the best spies. Just in general, women make the best spies because they're very good at holding secrets and pretending, uh you know, there's something that they're not actually are. Like they're very good at it. You won't even know. Like I'm saying, like this chick that, I mean, she was making the rounds on, like I said, Lapeef. She was on, you know, different panels and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, she wasn't like the best looking woman. She was definitely mid. She was a thick, kind of chubby chick that, like, basically a dude would try to shoot their shot, and the fact that she was pretty logical and practical about relationships and stuff like that was very attractive for a lot of men because a lot of men, these crazy chicks that basically have all of these weird ideas about relationships and all of these standards and stuff like that. Well, this chick wasn't talking nothing about that. She like I said, they call her a pick me because she was definitely more on a male side of things as far as relationships and stuff like that and different standards. But all the while, me being the person I am, just sitting back, just scrolling through Twitter and shit. You know what I'm saying? looking looking for, whatever the hell I'm looking for. I stumbled upon this chick, you know, and I was like, and then it was just like, some stuff, I kind of just stumbled upon. And then I got up on out of there. I was on the space and they was like, who is these, people? And it was like, oh yeah, they following her. And it was like, oh, okay. Okay, so she's, cause Twitter has an algorithm too. Once you look up something, you're in their algorithm. That's what people complain about with Twitter. Like, you seeing all these fights and stuff. He's like, yeah, because you looked at a fight. So Twitter is like, oh, okay, he likes fights, so she likes fights. So they just put all of these videos of people fighting, and you wondering why you want to steal on somebody. Because you've been watching a whole bunch of fights on Twitter or on social media. It's all of the social media has an algorithm. Anything you click on, that's why you should probably, people, they all remember they used to say back in the day, like when internet, the browsers first started, clear your cache and cookies, you know, so you can clear the algorithm, start a whole new, refresh it, right? So you don't know the algorithm doesn't know what you actually looked at. It's like it's a reset button. But anyway, like, yeah, this chick, man, totally a sub. It's like, yeah, you might be trying to talk to a chick. You're trying to deal with a chick, and she's a fucking sub. She's a brat. She wears pigtails and she's got a choker, right? And you don't know what that means because you don't know nothing about this American kink lifestyle. She wears she kind of dresses like she's a teenager a little bit, and she's 39 years old, or 35 or whatever. And you don't know anything about that. You don't know she's actually a brat, which a brat is basically very similar to a sub, but they, basically they act bratty and they get spanked. The paddle comes out, and then they get spanked a little bit for being a brat, and they like that. You don't know nothing about that. You don't know, you don't have a clue. And then I'm gonna get to the point where and the point is, yeah, like another thing is these women waste their entire lives. One of the things, the ultimate takeaway is one of the things that I noticed from these women, a lot of these women waste their lives away. They're because you going into Epicureanism versus Stoicism. One part of Epicureanism is, voyeurism, um, hedonism. That's hedonism, right? The kink lifestyle. These are hedonists, right? Epicureanist, hedonist, right? So a lot of these women waste their lives away, and you see that. You see one of the things about men that we are that they look probably women look at us like we're idiots and stuff like that. And one of the things that we're not. One of the things about men that we notice how women waste their life away. That's one of the main things that we notice that women don't really think about, that we notice. One of the things that we notice is we notice women wasting their lives away. And we know they only have so much of a of a life to waste, because yeah, women tend to live longer, but they have a short gestation period, or sexual reproductive period. Men, one of the superpowers again of men is, long as you're healthy. Isaac Hayes, 82 years old, had a 2-year-old. Died at 82, had a 2-year-old. That's our superpower. And we know our powers, just like women know their powers. And they don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. That's where the whole penis envy and all of that type of stuff. But we see women wasting their lives away. The most, like, dude that you think is a loser, whatever, he knows you're wasting your life away. And that's why dudes be on some simp shit, trying to, like, they literally think like they be on some white knight shit, trying to literally save women, like on some, that's why dudes, they complain about dudes talking about some, shame, blame, and explain, because it's like, yeah, dudes be literally trying to be like on some, like, let me help you, boo. And then Chris Brown said you can't save them. They don't want to be saved. And yeah, that's, what I'm saying, that's true. They don't, because I'm very sure that Chris Brown is in that lifestyle. A lot of them dudes that celebrities and stuff like that are in that type of lifestyle, and they've got women to do all kinds of compromising things, right? They've got women to, they get women paying them $1,000 to take a picture at the end of the show. What do you think that they are getting, to be able to have, unadulterated sex with them? All kinds of, crazy things they're able to do. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris Brown got in a lot of trouble with that, right? Got in a lot of trouble. The whole, got to take your phone at the door. Women talking about, trying to come up on some paper. He did this to me, knowing every woman, younger woman in America at one particular time was trying to get with either Chris Brown, all of them dudes, Bow Wow, all of them R&B rapper dudes. They trying to get with him. They trying to wait after the show, trying to, go to the, after party, the nightclubs, the hotel lobby, whatever entrance where they gonna possibly be at, to try to get anything they can in front of this guy, so he could possibly take this woman home, right? Usher, he I mean, how many chicks got with Usher and shit like that. All these dudes, man, they know about that. They know about that at an early age. And yeah, you can go in the whole, you could go here with it, right? Okay. I talked about that. What I said, where it is here. Where you boy at?
And no Diddy, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, man, and speaking of that, right? He was literally in all of that, right? He was the king. He was a lifestyle king, right? The black male lifestyle king, right? Sexual shadow world king. They locked him up, right? So yeah, you don't know. You absolutely don't have a clue. You think older dudes just be on YouTube yapping it up, yapping like we're just losers that just be talking. Nah, man. Got a lot of understanding that a lot of younger unimpressionable men have absolutely no idea what's going on. You got some men that they have a lot of experience, a lot of insight and knowledge, and you got the average man don't have a clue, and you got men that they don't know nothing. And it's like, yeah, you got a wide variance of men that they just don't know, and it's like you go, okay, imagine you really trying to talk to a chick, like I say, that she's lined up on the bed with her butt naked with her ass up, waiting to be spanked by her dom and to be humiliated, right? He's doing all kinds of stuff. He's smacking his meat on that face. You. This is, and you're like, okay, because like I'm saying, okay, like Alan Roger Curry, he was the king of quote unquote game or whatever, um, trying to tell you what actually these women are capable of and who they actually are and how to get with them, how to all that type of stuff. And he was definitely in the kink lifestyle. He was absolutely in the kink lifestyle, and he talked a lot about that. Right now, the thing is that again, imagine you're trying to date this type of woman and you don't know about this, and you don't know anything about monogamous pretenders. Women cheat and all that, and that's all to the extent that you know about that. You don't know how good these women are as far as being monogamous pretenders. And what a lot of times what monogamous pretenders do is they try to basically, they have a dual, like, who coined this term, dual mating strategy. I think either Ron Wills or Alan Roger Curry. They have a dual mating strategy. They date simps one way, and obviously they make the simps go through the hoops and the dates and all of this other shit, the long wasted conversations. And then the other guys, they don't put them through hoops. They either have, dudes that they deal with, obviously, right? They're dom. They got a dom that, if he say come over with a trench coat, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna leave the key at the door, they coming in, right? Don't be late. If you be late, you getting spanked. And it's like you have no idea, you don't know anything about this, and it's like, you got the older guys, like, what I'm saying, they telling you, like myself, man, you probably, before you want to put that, before you want to take this shit serious, and you talking about, sex is great, right? 'Cause she knows how to have sex great, right? Because what I'm saying, she's got a dom that, he's saying you can't come yet, and she's got to go. She's going crazy because she's trying not to come. What I'm saying, because what I'm saying, I'm not gonna go too far into depth into that. But the thing is that you don't know anything about this. You're a vanilla software developer that works remote, and you're trying to date someone to be your future wife and have your children with. And she's probably kind of for that because her dom don't give her nothing but, cum and bubble gum. You know what I'm saying? And she's happy. She's happy as a clam to get, whatever she can, right? From this man, right? And yeah, she likes the idea of, going back to the dual mating strategy, right? That you got a good, solid paying career, and you got a nice, decent apartment, you drive a Tesla, right? She's digging that shit. She sees a future with her dom babies that she's going to have with her dom, and that you're going to raise as your own, because you're a simp that hates men and don't listen to them and think that the game is not needed, and you want all dating coaches to be lined up and and shot in the head, execution style. It's like it's some crazy dudes on the internet, man. But one of the things about that I love, I mean, I'm probably one of them. I don't know, but the crazy people on YouTube is gold, man. It's just YouTube gold, man. Just the crazy people on the internet, you know, and the stuff they say, and the stuff they think about, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you hate these men, but these women do exist. They do exist. Everything I said and worse is going on, and have gone on. I mean, it goes down. You got like I say, brats, subs, uh, all kinds of crazy types of shit, man. You got shit, man. You just go. All you got to do is go Google kink and different people in the kink lifestyle, and it's all there on Google. It's all there. Give you probably a chart, a picture. Brats and subs and switches and all kinds of other shit. Paid pigs, all that type of stuff. Yeah, it's right there. I'm spilling the beans. I got more people viewing than I kind of seen in normal. I got some people that's in that lifestyle. I got their attention now. They didn't know I knew. They didn't know I knew the secret code behind the door. The secret code behind the door is pineapple. They didn't know I knew that. They thought I was just some lame square motherfucker that don't get no bitches. Ah, oh my God. I don't talk about the women I sleep with normally. The reason why, this is the reason why. Okay, I'm not in that lifestyle. I've never been in that lifestyle. But, and I'm not rich. I'm not, like Christian Grey or nothing like that, But as a man that has never been rich, I've had scenarios where, just like that movie, I got women that basically stalk me that I used to basically be in a relationship with. And they listen to me. And, basically I would even say it's more Machiavellian than that. It's more negative than that, because basically I have women that basically involved in my life that I'm attached to, in a sense that they listen to me, and I know they're listening to me. And all of a sudden, you start talking about some stuff that they don't like, and it's weird. Like, women ain't fair and all that other shit. No, they're not, because they're not gonna tell you they're watching your YouTube live streams. And that's why, like I say, you got to be very, very careful. When it comes to, like, even being a content creator, you put yourself out there, right? And I thought this was going to be a short live stream, but I got quite a few things to, this is a very, very in-depth topic. This is the type of stuff that I probably will be talking about on a Patreon, but I don't even have a Patreon anymore. But the thing is this, and I know some people like delete their live streams or unlist them and all. But the thing is this. All right. When it comes down to it, you gotta make your mate selection is very. You gotta really, 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 really think about who you're gonna choose, because in the end of the day, like what I said before on the other night when I said submit or suffer. A lot of women even after they make their, after all of the you a bitch ass nigga, fuck you, and blah blah blah, and they cuss you out, and they move on, they get another dude, or they try it out with another dude, or whatever the fuck they do. They after they kick you out and all that crazy shit that they do, y'all break up. That doesn't mean that they don't think about you, and they, what I'm saying, they might have never, moved on or whatever, and they'll still. It's kind of like mate guarding. It goes back to like what I was saying about mate guarding. Even when one of the like spookiest things, and this is why women are also very cautious when it comes to dating men too, because they call men weirdos and stuff like that. Because what happens, men do similar things. Maybe they do it differently, but they do very similar things. And it kind of goes into mate guarding, where basically men will mate guard women even before they get in a relationship with them. They'll start mate guarding. They'll, like, you'll see that online. Like, they'll defend women and all of that shit. Like, you'll see that behavior, that mammalian behavior online. Like, and in the real world, right? They'll do the same thing. Like, you'll have a dude that's in the friend zone, and she'll be talking to another dude, and then all of a sudden the friend that's supposed to be in the friend zone is supposed to be quiet and just be a friend. He's supposed to, be quiet, and the dude be trying to cock block the other dude from talking to the chick, like that's her boyfriend, but no, that's just her friend. And she gonna say, no, he's just a friend. That's just my friend, you know. And it's like, you like, what? Like, why, why he with, what I'm saying? Why you with this dude or whatever? And you gonna, after you get the number, like, you gonna ask, like, why are you with this dude? Like, who is this dude or whatever? He just my friend. We go shopping together, that type of thing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's what dudes do. They try to mate guard. And then, when they're in a relationship, of course they mate guard. But even after everything breaks off, the man will stalk the woman and try in his last fleeted attempt to mate guard. That's where the stalking comes in and all that. So imagine a dude that was already in a relationship with the woman. He's already, imagine even a man already had children. He has children with this woman. He has not moved on. He's a severe simp. He's still going. A lot of men, they still stalk the woman that they was in a relationship with. They like checking on them, checking on their profile, trying to see, who they dating now, and all that type of stuff. And that's where, women have a problem with men trying to move on. And the same goes for women. Women do the same thing, right? To extreme version, you have children with the woman. She's doing some mate guarding. She don't want you to have a girlfriend. If you talking about other women, she all of a sudden, you like, damn, you trying to go pick your kids up. She pissed off at you. And you like, why is she pissed off at me? You don't know she's listening to your fucking YouTube live stream. And you like, damn, me, how are you punishing me for some shit you heard? Why you stalking me on the internet like a crazy person? And you know what I'm saying? You saying one thing, you said I was a bitch ass motherfucker that ain't worth shit. And it's like you stalking me on the internet. So it's like, okay, you saying one thing, but you know, it's really something else. And it's just weirdo mental illness behavior, right? And it's like, yeah, you like, okay, you trying to enjoy your life, you trying to live your life, do you, and you got your exes stalking you on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, like you like, okay, you don't know this. You like, okay, what the hell? You thinking, oh, because he don't talk about his sexual exploits on the internet, he ain't getting nothing. It's like, yeah, I can't talk about nothing about, who out of, what I'm saying, not above like maybe behind like Patreon or something. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I definitely believe one of my Patreon subscribers when I did have Patreon was one of my exes. I definitely think so. I'm not 100% sure on it. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I believe so. One of them, was, I believe, one of my exes. Now, the thing is this. It's weird because, again, part of the whole submit or suffer ideology that I pretty much, that's one of my sayings, submit or suffer. Even when a woman does not want to submit, and basically, again, she's single, she's kind of depressed, she ain't got nobody, and she's still holding on to you because she knows that you are very valuable. She knows that she fucked up. She knows she's a fucked up individual. She got problems and issues. She can't keep a man to save her life, and it's like that doesn't stop them from stalking your ass on the internet. And then you don't know. You have no idea that this person is stalking you. And, until you realize, until you're smart enough to realize, okay, yeah, this person is listening to me. They're it's like they're punishing you for expressing yourself, because I mean, if you got kids, obviously, if you ain't got kids by the person, it's no big deal because you're not gonna see them. But what happens is a lot of times women use their children to mate guard men. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. And that's just something that a lot of people don't talk about, or they don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, that's what women do. They use their children to mate guard men. So you going to go pick your kids up and you ain't do nothing. You ain't say nothing. You ain't bring no random stranger woman to the house or nothing. Just going to go pick your kids up. Next thing you know, she got an attitude with you. You done said some shit the other night or the week before, and she ain't tell you nothing about what you said. She punishing you for some shit that you don't even know nothing about. That's how weird and creepy and evil women are capable of fucking behavior that women are capable of that you don't even think about. You don't even you might not care. You might what I'm saying not know whatever. But yeah, that's some of this kind of like super megalomaniac or maniac type of behavior that you got to deal with, if you're dealing with a woman that has a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of mental issues that have not been dealt with. Women that's not really dealt with reality. They want to do their own thing. They just want to be a crazy person that wants to do whatever they want to do, and just deal with the consequences of that. And it's like, yeah, man, it's really kind of weird, but you got to do the best you can. But if you're in that situation, and I'm not the only one, obviously, that's in that situation, it's a lot of men that deal with that type of situation where women use the access, the fact that you got to deal with them because you have children as a form of mate guarding. Because it wouldn't matter if they had no kids with this crazy person that sneak watch or cloud watch my videos or has fake profiles or whatever, and it crucifies me for things that I say online that I don't even know. Like how would I even know that they're even listening to me? And what does it matter of what I'm saying on the internet? As far as like, uh, we're broken up, we're separated or whatever, or, divorced or whatever. Like, what would it matter what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, that's the weird, creepy things that women do, you know, and it's like, yeah, that's the stuff that you got to deal with if you trying to deal with some type of woman. And it's just like, it's kind of the gift and the curse of kind of being a desirable man or whatever, dealing with women, you know breaking their back off, getting all inside their guts, getting all inside their soul, and busting off. Like, that's the stuff that you got to deal with, man. When the relationship settles, now you got a bunch of alpha widows following your YouTube page, your social media pages. At least at the very least, man, send a brother some money. You know what I'm saying? Shit, here, send me some fucking cash apps. Gonna sneak soak my ass and stalk me. Those are the most extreme hate watchers. Because they really, like, they just try to see what you own. I guess in a way they want you to fall off. They want to see me come on here with two teeth hanging, missing, like holes in my teeth, with three black eyes. I mean, two black eyes. They want to see me come on here with a motherfucking uh uh a voice box or some shit. Talking about, hello, what's going on, y'all? Like they just, I guess that's what they want. Maybe, to a certain extent, you know that maybe they want some benevolent thing to happen to me, or some shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of weird, man. Very, very fucking weird. But it's like, yeah, these same women, I gave them the option to submit. They chose suffering. End of story. And amongst the suffering is being a alpha widow, trying to motherfucking stalk, your past lover. You know what I'm saying? And this is the type of shit, guys deal with. They don't really talk about much. And it's like, yeah, you thinking a motherfucker some type of loser that ain't getting no pussy, you'll be fucking surprised. You'll be very, very surprised what the reality is. And to be honest, even if I didn't have women stalking me, I wouldn't tell you my business. I wouldn't tell you my actual sexual exploits. What would it value me to tell you my sexual exploits? It would not be any value for me telling you my sexual exploits. Because, okay, what, to just brag? To brag to you? I mean, I bragged about different sexual exploits on this channel, but it wouldn't profit me to tell you anything. It ain't like I'm getting no financial support from none of you motherfuckers like that. Fuck, I'm gonna tell you anything about some goddamn sexual exploits. That's crazy. Like, I'm not brag. I'm gonna come on here just Like I'm just bragging for no point. Like at the end of the day, man, shit, yeah, it's one thing to brag, and then you get, you get compensated like, oh yeah, you the man, yeah, you get get support and shit like that. Like I don't get no support like that, so I don't gotta tell nobody nothing about no sexual exploits and shit like that. Like that's not, I don't get nobody, what I'm saying, calling me or whatever for no consultations or anything like that. Fuck, I'm gonna tell you anything about sexual exploits or some shit like that. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm cold with it when it comes to women. You know what I'm saying? I got my own weaknesses when it comes to women myself, but shit, I'm way above shit. I'm making women at this point. Fuck out of here. I'm not I'm not a I'm advanced in this shit as far as all of that type of stuff. Shit. Um yeah, I'm trying to make the next crop of better American women, It's where I'm at. Shoot. But yeah, man, things ain't what they seem, you know. Things are not what they seem. And yeah, I mean, back to, you trying to take this woman serious that you haven't qualified fully. And I think, yeah, like, basically, I think you guys probably need to get some type of private investigator to, if you're really trying to take it serious, like let's say you trying to go from the dating phase, y'all talking about going to get a place, right? Going to get an apartment or something, a living space together, right? Might want to go get you a private investigator. What a private investigator can do is they can research their, basically social medias. They can research their history. If they have any criminal history, uh, they can actually eavesdrop on them, their conversations, take pictures of their interactions, the day-to-day interactions, and you might be surprised at what you find out. They have certain tools and stuff like that, depending on who you hire, you know what I'm saying? Like you you a lot of the things, see, with me is the funny thing with me, right, is a lot of people they don't understand like technology, obviously, right? They don't understand, like, so I'll say with a tech that is an actual tech that knows computers, networking, software, right? It's going to be hard to cheat on a tech guy per se, right? Truly a true tech guy, right? It's gonna be like, as far as me getting cucked or cheated on, it's gonna be difficult, because the reason being is, let's just say I was on some shit where I was in a relationship with a woman that wanted to cheat, that was on some, she was cheating on me type shit. She was sleeping with other men and not telling me, right? Putting because, see, here's the thing, when it comes to, because sometimes I kind of go from different points of conversation and I forget what I was talking about. But one of the reasons why it's a lot of detrimental consequences for women when it comes to cheating on men versus men cheating on women, and it it could be vice or versa. Vice or versa is Latin. It means it could be one thing or the other. So the thing is this: a woman trying to cheat, one, she can get pregnant by another dude. Another thing is now you creating a dude. You create not you. Yeah, you creating a dude. You're doing that as well. You creating this. You creating a dude that is not my son, right? Or whatever, you know. And then, you know, Billie Jean is not my lover, you know, type shit. Like you're creating a child possibly that is not the actual father of the guy that you're claiming to be in a relationship with. That's one. And that's more of a debt. Women don't really give a shit about that. They don't give a shit. You know, they care, but they only care if the other dude knows. That's all they care about. They just care if the other dude knows. The other dude is the man that's they're in a relationship with. This is all their concern is, right? Mostly, right? What if he finds out? Okay, obviously that's all they care about. Now the other thing that is a problem or issue with the other guy is you got a foe. Now you got a foe that you don't even know about. You got some nigga that's around that you don't know who this dude is. She could be fucking the a cartel syndicate operative or member, and you don't have no idea who you dealing with. Like, you know, that this is the stuff out of movies. You know, this is stuff you don't think about. You know, your wife, she works at some corporate headquarters, right? And she has friends. Some of her friends is a mix of single guys. Freudian slip, single guys and single women, and some married, you know, folk in that mix. And she goes out every now and again. She goes to kick it. She goes to clubbing, and she does not go with you, obviously. She goes out and she has a good time with her pals, right? And on the course of that, she's meeting guys. She sees a fine Latino, you know, Rico Suave looking dude. And he slides her his number. And, you know, she's like, you know, basically she's kind of curious. So she contacts the number. She texts the number, you know, and then, you know, conversation starts and communication, it gets, you know, more indulging as the day goes by. You know, next thing you know, they meeting in a hotel room, and he's giving her the brown bomber, right? Breaking backs, you know. She's saying "I papi," you know, and then yeah, now all of a sudden, not only do you have possibly a Miguel coming as a baby coming out, you know, with fine hair, uh, you know, with a perfect mustache when he gets older, and you know what I'm saying, looking like he know how to be bilingual, you know, speaking Spanish and English. And it's like, not only that, you got some motherfucker that's a cartel operative or whatever, cartel member, you know, that you don't even, you just a motherfucking a full stack developer. You know, you work, you know, and she works, y'all combined make over $200,000 a year. Y'all got a nice house, you got a Tesla, she got She got a Range Rover, right? Y'all got a nice lifestyle going. Y'all combined bills, monthly bills is like, you know, $15,000. You know, you pay the bulk of it, or y'all go 50-50, I don't know, whatever. But y'all totally able to pay for that. And 15,000 of that is, you know, part of that is, you know, insurance money that you know gotta pay, insurances, you know, mortgages, right? You know, you got a $500,000 house, you know, 5 bedroom, 2.5 bath, master bedroom with a jacuzzi tub, fireplaces, the whole nine, like cathedral ceilings, which is high ceilings, right? You got a nice lifestyle, right? And you thinking, you know, we cool, you know, we get along, you know, we cohabitate, and we, you know, it's not 100%, it's not 100% perfect, but it's cool. You really would like her to work from home, you know, so you can, you know, she could be there and stuff like that. But you know, she want to work, you know, it's cool. You don't have none the wiser. You don't know you haven't qualified this chick at all. Like you don't know what she's capable of. You don't know that much about her like that. Like you never hired no private investigator. Like low key, while y'all was dating, she already had a dude. She ain't even know. Like you had no idea, right? So next thing you know, yeah, she's getting digged down by Arturo, you know, and yeah, she's got a baby. The baby is really not yours. This is the shit that Tyler Perry would. If you see a Tyler Perry movie with this in the title, this type of movie, it was somebody. It was a Tyler Perry producer that was sneak soaking my conversation on YouTube for the free ski. You know, like yeah, this is some like Tyler Perry movie type shit. Like, you know, yeah, like some stuff you see on Netflix late at night that you enjoying, like a really good movie that you know, you like, damn, this is a good movie, and you know, you tell next thing you know is trending on Netflix and shit. You know, like what was that? I forgot what was trending on Netflix. It was a Tyler Perry series about I think it's called Black Beauty. Yeah, it was Black Beauty. I think that's what it was called. It's basically about a chick that was a stripper. She got involved in something with a dude that they was trying to get some money, and they got caught with some drugs on the airplane. And the whole thing was they was involved in some like black elite family that ran a company that was extorting people and had a long history of, like, they had a whole bunch of people that they extorted to work for them. Like they got people that was involved in stuff, and they got them out of jail time, and they had to basically volunteer to work for this like rich black corporate family or whatever that own a corporation or whatever. It's like it's like that type of shit. Like, but worse, more deadly when, yeah, you're basically your ex-wife or your current wife. She's not, you haven't found out yet. She's basically, and then yeah, you ain't even got to that point. Like you pretty much, like I say, you got a baby that you don't even notice, not yours. Then, you know, she's dealing with some other dude. She playing it off. She cool. She's still giving you some sex. She playing it off in a sense, because some, like a lot of women, you know, you got some women that they don't necessarily know how to really cheat well, and you got some women that know how to cheat better than other women, right? So what a lot of times with women, they they get caught because they stop having sex with the man that they with. Like they go through long periods of time where they not having sex with their husband or whatever, right? And then that's a telltale sign, right? That she's probably cheating because she's getting sexually satisfied by somebody other than you. So like some women are better where they'll give you what you want. They'll give you the head, they'll give you some pussy, and you don't even know, like they got some other dude, like they playing it off, right? And it's like, yeah, she'll do that, and then she's still dealing with some dude that is a fucking cartel hitman. And then next thing you know, you show up at your door and you see some strange looking Mexican motherfucker at your door, and you like, who are you? It's like, I'm here to see Keisha. And you like, what? What you mean you here to see Keisha? Oh, Keisha didn't tell you? Oh yeah. He'll play it off because he don't want to mess things up. Yeah, she was showing me. I have a contract company, and I do remodeling. She was showing me a possible problem she was having with her kitchen sink, her pipes in her kitchen sink. She believe it's a slight drip. And it's like, damn, you don't even know. You have no clue. Like, he caught you like while basically you were coming home early or something. She thought you was going out to the gym or something, and you was gonna be gone for like 2 hours or something. But it turned out to be, it wasn't that. It was you changed your mind. You just went to go get a latte, from the coffee shop, and you just came back real quick. And then, it's like it was a total surprise. He had to play it off. She thought she had a good quickie, a good time for a quickie real quick. And it's like, yeah, that's where that shit gets dangerous. Like a woman, she don't, women don't really necessarily care like that. Like, but they don't think like that. I don't think they don't really necessarily care about this shit. But yeah, you bringing in other like you bringing in, basically a woman is bringing you uh someone that is basically a foe. Like she's bringing in a someone that basically you would have to either he kill you or you kill him. And it's all because she want to cheat. Like, I mean, the same thing can happen with women, but you got to understand what tends to happen. What tends to happen is the men, they're involved with. It's a situation where the man is aggressive, or it's some type of situation where it gets violent. Because men can be more violent. Men are more violent than women. I do it. I'm not gonna. I'm not unreasonable. I understand and I know that, right? So it is cases where women have done the same thing, though, right? There's been many cases where women have, tried to kill or actually kill the woman, that of the quote unquote lover, the lover's wife. They was the side chick, and they killed the wife of their basically um lover, that they was in a side, there was a side chick, to a married man. Yeah, that's definitely happened. All you got to do. What was that dude that used to play for the Chicago Bears? What was that dude that used to play? It was a dude that used to play for the Chicago Bears. All you got to do is Google Chicago Bears lovers quarrel or Chicago Bears um deadly romance or some shit like that. I can't remember that dude's name, but all I know is what's going on, Nino. All I know is basically the guy was involved with some chick, and he was with another chick, and she in his the his he had a side chick basically, and the woman that he was in a relationship with before he got with the side chick, she was pregnant. She was about to have a baby. So the side chick killed her because she wanted to cut off ties and all of that. I can't remember that dude's name, man. He was like, I think he was a receiver that used to play for the Chicago Bears or something. I don't know. But yeah, he was involved in like some type of white woman lovers quarrel, that ended deadly. They found out. I mean, she got caught. I don't remember what happened as far as the case and what time she had or how much time did she get and all that. But I mean, it does happen on both sides. You say, um, man, I see you got your tux on early this morning. Yeah, man, that's an old picture, man. I have been hearing that all week that men are more violent and dangerous, but there's always a reason behind it. Yeah, to a certain extent. To a certain extent, yeah. Yeah, she probably did. I mean, I'm sure she got some time. But the thing is that yeah, you don't know, like, the things that women get involved in can really put people in a bind. You see that in the hood all the time. The hood is notorious, right? Because it's more common, or it's more dangerous because it gets more dangerous in the lower classes, and definitely I would say the 85 octane, you know, kind of hood ratchet like environment where people are in system D. They selling drugs, and they doing illegal activities. So they already taking risks. Poor people in a lower socioeconomic environment, they take risks, right? They take a lot of risks. They kind of forced to, right? You see that in Gary, Indiana. It's a lot of people taking a lot of risks. A lot of people in severe financial duress, right? And the thing is that the people that are in the underground world, selling the drugs and doing hits and um, doing all kind of underworld activities, they getting involved with dudes. They're dating their op, they're dating their boyfriend's op, they're dating their boyfriend's, rival and all of that type of shit. And then next thing you know, the dude is in the graveyard because he was dealing with a chick that, obviously didn't, basically was a monogamous pretender, or they were just both cheating, or whatever the case, crazy type of, situation. It's very, very common. It happens every day, and it's like people do, I mean, you Nino, you talk about the whole Pookie and Ray Ray stuff. I mean, people talk about Pookie and Ray Ray. Well, Pookie and Ray Ray go through hell, dating their contemporaries in the quote unquote hood in the ghetto. That's one of the reasons why they want to get a chick that's educated, and stuff like that, because they putting they back into, educated Keisha, and they putting they back in it. They trying to sweat to, give Keisha the best they got so they can get out the hood. Cause they know the chicks that they dating, normally the chicks in the hood, ain't up to no good, basically. Like they ain't no, it really, the future ain't really that good with them. They ain't got no money, and then they got, selling drugs and everything like that. And them women, they go get locked up, they taking their money, they sleeping with, some of the dudes they sold drugs with, they sleeping with the ops, all this type of stuff, man. You see it in Chicago, and all that type of stuff. I mean, you see it, and it gets really, it's more dangerous in that environment, because you got people that ain't got nothing to lose, and it's like, death is like right around the corner, in that type of environment, in that type of world, and it crosses over, you know, it really gets deadly. A lot of the hood is a lot of violent simps, a lot of violent simps that, are very emotional over women, and violent over women, and, all that type of stuff, and have rivalries. And one of the reasons they selling drugs is so they can impress women, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's a big deal. It's like when you go to the whole women cheating versus men cheating type of discussion, men don't date women that are thugs like that. Men do not. One of the difference between quote unquote bad boys and bad girls, right? Or quote unquote thug girls and thug dudes, right? Women might like thug dudes, like they really, because of rap music, they're programmed, to like thugs, right? That's just how that is, right? They're programmed from the rap music, from the rap culture, hip hop rap culture, to, I used to love her, right? Um, I, hip hop turning into, the thug culture in the early 90s, late 80s, right? Going to West Coast, getting gangster rap, ain't nothing but a G thing, West Coast gang culture rap, right? So now, women are, programmed to be thug lovers, right? Because of the music, because of the culture, they got programmed, brainwashed into um liking thugs. And even the men programmed into dressing like thugs, acting like thugs. Everybody, a lot of people were brainwashed into that. That was part of the culture. That was just caked into the culture in the 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s with G Unit, right? A lot of people had G Unit shirts. Remember the G Unit sneakers? G Unit, you know, Rough Riders, the Rough Riders anthem. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's an element of society, a lot of black society is, trying to financially survive in an economic system that doesn't want to hire you, doesn't want to support your businesses, don't want to fund your startups. It's a lot of financial hurdles to overcome. It's almost like, to be honest, here's the thing, right? And Sergeant Willie Pete was talking about this, and I have to second that as well. When when white people see you got money, or they really don't think you got no money. You know what I'm saying? Um they don't, when they see you have money, they're surprised. And the reason why they're surprised, or don't even believe you have any money, they're like, you know, you go to a car dealership and they don't even approach you because um they assume that you don't have any money, because you know and I've said this before, the reason why they assume that you uh don't have any money is because they know the system works. The system as it is works the way it works, and it works great. They like, how did you get past all of these hurdles and denial letters, these loan denial letters, job denial letters, like, funding hurdles, business hurdles? Like, how did you do that? Because they know it's hard. They know that it's hard for black people to get any type of upward mobility in America. Like, they know the hurdles and the traps and all of that type of stuff because they set them. So they know it's difficult. So when they see you overcame traps and obstacles and shit like that, they're like surprised. They're like asking you, well, what did you do to do this? So we can set the traps higher, so we can change the obstacles and make them even more difficult. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yeah, they're surprised when you got money. They're surprised when you can speak well and all that other stuff, because, they know, they know a lot of people are, poor, that are black people. They just know that. They see that on a daily basis, and they think that's what they think most black people are. And it's like the stats say that they see that when they go to certain neighborhoods and stuff like that. So when they see you walking in their neighborhood, they're like, who the fuck are you? Where did you come from? Where are you going? And you like, man, I'm going to my house. And they don't believe you because in their mind, in their their mind, they're like, they know, don't nobody really hardly live here that's black. They don't see anybody that's black. And then they already assume and know in their own mind that black people don't really have no money like that. And it's not common. So when they see you got money, or they got, you got some type of financial success, they don't believe that. It boggles their mind. Some of them are crazy, man. I definitely strongly believe a lot of that is mental illness. That type of thinking, the type of behavior, it's a mix of mental illness and human competition. I.e. racism, discrimination, all of that type of stuff. But the thing is, they know the system works great. The system works great. Their code is, excellent. And it's like, oh, you beat the code? How did you beat the code? Like, that's, they're surprised, and that's where that is. Like, so that's where that comes from. But the thing is that yeah, that is a thing, and when it comes to, people in a lot of people are in average to below average, environments, and it's like, it's very few black people that have, like, upper class environments, and even have, wealth like that, where they can even live in an upper class neighborhood. And not to say that there's nothing going on in those types of higher socioeconomic levels. I mean, people still people still doing stuff, but they organize a little bit with it. Like they have hitmen and all. That's what you saw with that United Healthcare dude. Like it's definitely something organized, possibly. I don't necessarily know, but it looks organized to me. Dude, you don't go get a silencer. Like those don't come by easily. Certain like where they knew he was actually gonna be and all that type of stuff. That takes to me that looked like a certain level of planning and actual execution. It looked like some shit off of a Netflix movie. Like that definitely ain't no like just random drive by, no shit like that. And the world was shocked. People shocked about that because they don't see no stuff like that. CEOs don't normally get whacked, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, it's like something from a movie. But the thing is that yeah, it happens. It happens. I mean, but yeah, it's when women cheat, man, it's very, very detrimental. It's very detrimental because men have to be responsible no matter what. Like I say, men have to be responsible. They have to deal with everything. Ain't nobody, it's nobody to take the, quote unquote, help us, you know, basically provide for us. So men gotta provide for children that they have, regardless of whether they have a side chick or not, or previous children from a relationship, current relationship. They have to be providers for those children. They have to provide for those children. Women basically cheating, they're cheating the actual provider, because the man in essence is providing for another man's child. He's offering a hedge, because men have a hedge. Like men being around is security. It's 24-hour security. He's securing that child's future, that baby's security from predators. From the dangerous people in society. He's basically making sure the doors is locked. He's got some guns. He may or may not know how to use them. And somebody come, you got a dog or alarm. He pays the bill for the alarm. Men are natural protectors. So that's a value that some men do talk. I mean, some women do talk about. They do talk about. I do need a man that could protect me, and they value that. That's one of the things that they complain about, because being independent, they don't have any protection. When you're single, you don't have a man. Obviously, you don't have anybody to protect you. So in their inability to basically have a relationship or whatever with a man, they also have an inability to have protection. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that is a resource, that is a valuable resource, that's really, to be honest, more valuable than money and assets, than anything. I mean, for a man to be able to protect a woman from danger, and the children from danger, from basically intimate death, how valuable is that? Like, a lot of times people don't stop and think like, damn, well, yeah, I want him to have money and blah, blah, blah. But what good is money and having a nice house when somebody can come up in there and just kill your ass easily? Like dude pulled out a backpack, a silencer, looked like a 9mm maybe, and just couple shots, and you don't even hear it. It's like just like that. And you like, damn, before by the time a bullet hit your back, and you ain't you just a regular dude, a CEO, just a regular dude, really. I mean, yeah, it just so happened to be you're a CEO, but you know, it's not like you're the president of the United States or something like that. You're just a CEO. I mean, it's not like all CEOs have security, but the most important ones or notable ones do have security, like Mark Zuckerberg and you know, different types, he's got different types of security. A lot of the probably big time companies like Apple, Google. Nah, I ain't gonna even say Google. I'll say like Microsoft. Yeah, they probably got corporate security. It's a big thing. Like corporate security. I remember when I was working security before I got in IT, when I was working like blue collar jobs, I was working security. I wanted to get into corporate security because they pay a lot. They pay they pay a lot more than actual security. Probably they probably pay 3 times to double what a normal, regular, pretty much kind of fledgling, struggling security guard would make, working at a department store. I don't know what they pay now, but back when I started, I mean, they was paying like $7 an hour. Even to be, I remember I went on a job interview. I had just got my arm license to carry a weapon, to be a security guard, and they were talking about working at a bank. It was only offering $10 an hour, and I was like, hell no, and it was far away. So it's like, hell no, I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to risk my life for $10 an hour. I'm not about to take my 380, go to work in security at a bank that could possibly be robbed by dangerous men. All you gotta see is the movie The Joker. You got a bunch of people with clown masks coming in the bank with armed, uh HKs or Uzis or whatever coming in the bank. You got a fucking 380. It's a 2-man, 3-man operation. You got, if you're smart, you got a clip or two in a on you or whatever, but you're not about to stop that. It's the chances of you stopping that is like slim to none. I mean, if you train, okay, you might have a better, hope of maybe possibly shooting, back, but you actually putting up some type of offensive to that is slim to none, because you got automatic weapons against semi-automatic or semi-automatic pistol, and it's like, yeah, at the very least you could be a deterrent, because I mean, you might get one off, you might wound someone, might even kill one of the dudes, but still got, let's say it's 2 or 3 of them, you might get one person, but you got still 2 other people, and they you shooting, they shooting, and it's like, yeah, man, it's a very, very dangerous job. Like, cause it could go, it could be the worst, the worst can go down, and it's like, yeah, man, it wasn't worth it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, when you think about protection, that's the most valuable thing men provide, is protection. Because it doesn't matter your cars, your Birkins, your house, your money, when somebody could just off your ass. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's, it's kind of in a sense, to a certain extent, why they say they like, quote unquote, thugs, because thugs, come from an environment that's unstable, that's violent, that's high crime, and they know how to be on guard. They, in the course of day-to-day life, they know how to deal with that better than a person that maybe been in an environment where everything is pretty much kind of self-regulated better. Police is very, very aggressive. It's a high socioeconomic environment, so you can't even live in the environment. People literally, everybody pass through because can't nobody really live there because they can't afford to live there. Best they can do is work there, maybe possibly have an apartment in that environment at best. But you got some neighborhoods that, because they know that they don't want, people that are in a lower socioeconomic level to live in the neighborhood, they don't even have an apartment buildings. I never forget, like, I used to live in South Holland, Illinois. South Holland, in order to keep transients out of the community and, people in a lower socioeconomic level out of the community, they made it where they banned all apartments. It was some apartments that were grandfathered in, but they basically banned all apartment buildings. And I realized why they did it, as time went on, because yeah, like you kind of bring in possible riffraff in your neighborhood by having apartments. It kind of opens the door to a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that yeah, that protection is something that not a lot of people talk about. When it comes to hypergamy, you're talking about the money, the jewelry, the luxury living, and all that. And then some dudes, either you might have brought that on, or it might even just be random. Meaning, if the woman's cheating, she's bringing in dudes she don't even know who the fuck they actually are, because she's a horny idiot that doesn't know how to really select dudes, because she's got this weird ass dual mating strategy. Then all of a sudden you got some goons at your door, you know what I'm saying, with some Glock switches. They know you got some money, because they've been following you or whatever. And it's like, yeah, at that point, all of that shit does not even matter. The only thing that matters is, are you able to protect that situation? Are you able to defend that situation? And if you're not, it's basically like my grandfather used to say, it's a card for a dead man and woman and child. They may let the child live. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget. I'll tell you a story. I got plenty of stories. I got a little time. Football about to come on in about 6 hours. I got a little battery left. I can plug it up. It was this dude. Kind of grew up with him, not really. When I say not really, I don't really know, like, how, like, I just say probably, yeah, I probably did grow up with him. But he was in a gang. He was a four corner hustler. That was like, it's kind of not a well-known gang that you would know. Like, most people outside of Chicago, they know GDs, BDs, Vice Lords, and Blackstones. They probably, one or two of those you might not know that well. But you don't know about the four corner hustlers. You may or may not know about the Latin Kings. It's a lot of different street gangs in Chicago. It's even more than that. Chicago has a long historical gang culture. It's probably older than West Coast gang culture, right? So even a lot of places in the United States, people moved from Chicago and they brought their gang culture to different states. Like, for example, Memphis. The reason why you have GDs in Memphis is because black dudes from Chicago moved to Memphis and brought their gang to Memphis. You know, the same thing with the Crips and Bloods. The Crips and Bloods came from West Coast, California. You got Crips and Bloods and, you know, down south, Crips and Bloods in the New York. You know what I'm saying? Because people moved and they bring that gang culture with them wherever they move to. Now the thing is this: when it comes down to this guy, he was a four corner hustler. Okay, they you know, basically their thing is hustle. Like that, it literally is tripped out. Four corner hustler. They're the whole like saying with them. When I first heard this, I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is wild. Their thing is hustle all the four corners of the universe. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Hustle all four corners of the universe. Hustle, hustle, hustle. So they into making money however they can make it. They're really into money, making money, hustling, do whatever it comes up, like robbing dudes, whatever it comes up to making money. They're all about it. You know what I'm saying? Taking chains, all kind of stuff. They used to like go in your pockets and stuff like that. Now here's the thing. This guy, okay, you know, he basically, long story short, and this is why I'm talking about kids and stuff and all of that. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, you think, you know, think they're gonna spare your children. But the thing is this guy got involved with someone, I don't know who it was, and he basically kind of like, in a sense, he ran off with the plug. He ran off with the plug, okay? And they you know, basically came in on them and they killed him and his daughter. He had a 2-year-old daughter. They killed both of them. Okay. This probably happened like 10 years ago. And the thing is yeah, you know, you don't know. You think they might not even let your children survive. Like, so yeah, protection is everything and everything and anything. That's what protection is the most valuable thing men can actually offer to women. You know, and you know, nobody really hardly talks about that. They do talk about it, but they don't even talk about it as much. Most people talk about assets, you know, sex, you know, and you know, obviously money and stuff. You know, that's what they primarily talk about. That's mainly what women talk about. They talk about protection, but they don't talk about it as much. They glance over it, but it's the most valuable resource a man could provide, his protection. Now, again, like I said quite a bit on here, I didn't even think, I thought this was going, you know, I was trying to make this less than an hour. You know, I was all over the place, but again, another late night discussion, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a warning, you know, if you self-improving, you know, basically, it's a lot to think about, you know, and I pretty much, you know what I'm saying, I kind of laid out my valid points in you know, not in, you know, any type of like random sequence, but you know, it's a lot, you know, I hope this you know, you can understand, you know, things ain't what they say. You know, people, you know, you dealing with a lot of women that have, like I said, dual mating strategies. You know, you thinking oh, this woman, she's saying you got to get this and this and this and this. Like, no, women have requirements for men that they don't like. That's what all you got to remember is that, as the squeeze is ongoing, because we're in a financial squeeze right now. We're in a financial squeeze. It's a lot of pressure. Of course, it's still, Thanksgiving retrograde. That's why it was a lot of fights during Thanksgiving. It was a retrograde. Kind of supposed to keep your distance during a retrograde from people as much as you possibly can. The thing is this. As you learn, as you grow, as you continue to self-improve, and all you got to do, like I say, is remember that basically women have requirements, and this is what women said. This is not what I said. Women have requirements for men that they don't like.